Hey, what's good? It's Cadillaktrackz, just making another beat right here on Maschine and Fruity Loops. This is beat making number 9. I was actually recording the video, it was going all good. I was explaining a lot of stuff in the video, messed up and deleted itself. So I'm just gonna start over and try to cover everything I was or whatever. So I think I was right here. Turn that up. I went ahead and make a beat today, and the first thing we did was we started and I opened up a piano, and I opened up the Nore piano from Contact. So this is Contact right here. I went ahead and opened up the piano. I've mentioned to y'all, Contact's real good, and it's good to organize your stuff. You see how I have this little organized stuff? I made a video on my channel, so make sure y'all check that out, organizing Contact, because you don't want to be scrolling through your computer and loading up all the instruments when you can just quick load them in this quick load thing, which is right here. Quick load, bam. So just make sure you do that. So I went ahead and I opened up the Nore, and I went ahead and I found a progression. I used Chihulu on the progression, and I've told y'all that Maschine and Chihulu are both chord generators. Maschine has chords where you can push chord mode and you can generate chords, and Chihulu does also, but the difference is that with Chihulu it'll generate a lot of random chords that might not go together, and so you have to kind of use your ear and trial and error and just random keys, because it maps them out to different keys on the keyboard, and you have to try to come up with a progression that way. With Maschine, a lot of the chord sets are chords that work together. They're in the same key or scale, and so the chords kind of blend together and they'll work together, so you can, it's a little bit easier to get a creative progression with Maschine. But with your Hulu, you get more chords to choose from, and when I say more chords, hell, there's like 10 or 20 ways to play one chord. So a lot of people will just say, well, we're just playing the same chord, but it sounds different, so you can get a lot more different sounding chords, with Chihulu. And then with the progressions, you just kind of play them by ear, random keys, and you'll come up with a good progression that way. And that's what I did here on Chihulu. I made a progression on the piano, and you can see the chords right here. I didn't really do too much to the chords. You can see that, look, they're all the same velocity, which, matter of fact, I thought I did. Sometimes I'll go and I'll just push Control R, and you can do like stuff like this where you can move the randomizer and you can randomize the velocity of them. You can also click right here and you can randomize the pan, the release, and then also the pitch. So sometimes I'll do that to them. You can also strum notes. So anytime you can strum notes by just Control A and then Alt S, and then allows you to strum them, but we're not strumming these. So this was the chord progression, and let me just play it real quick so that y'all can hear it. And it started off like this. I'm gonna solo it since I'm starting the video over. And another thing is, when I have the sounds on my mixer on Fruity Loops, I like them all to come into a instrument bus. It's just something that I saw somebody doing online on YouTube, and I was like, damn, I need to do that, and I did it, and I'm so glad I do it, and I think everyone should, because it just really helps you to break down and have a bus of all your sound. So anyway, all my instruments come to this instrument bus, and that way I can put an effect or something on it, and it'll affect all the instruments of my beat. That's what I have going on here. We just put an EQ when we cut off some of the lows, and then I use my self beat cutters. I shared this with y'all, and it was available for 7 days, but some of y'all didn't get it, or you never saw the video in time. But this was a preset that somebody made that they gave to me. I've never found one, a gross beat preset like it, and I have them all. I got a ton of them. But it's unique. It allows you to basically pitch shift or time shift the melody that goes through it, kind of like the halftime or half speed does. It slows it down. This has all type of different speeds and denominations and pitches and all that. So I use that on it, and then I also use this thing. I wanted something that could basically change the pitch or the key that the sounds were playing in, and I found this is a Waves plugin sound shifter, and I just went ahead and raised it up 4 semitones, so all the little melodies were coming through, and it just raised them up like a few notes. And so that's where it is right now, and that's why it sounds like that. I think it's real low notes on the piano, so So we needed to bring them up just to have them this bright. And from there, I just went to, I think the next thing I did was I opened up I basically put a melody on the piano where I played some high notes, and you can see them right here. Remember, when you open up a piano roll, just hold Control, right click, and you can see all the notes. If you're not doing that, you're wasting a lot of time by scrolling in and out, and that's a power advanced tip. Like, you got to be on that. So we did that, and I opened up Nexus and I put it on a new piano. I didn't want it on the same piano, even though it was when I made it. But I wanted it on a different piano because I might wanted to change the velocity level or put an effect or just whatever. So I went ahead and Nexus and I opened up a new piano, and I went ahead and I played those notes, and it sounds like this. So that was something that I played on the piano, and I thought it sounded alright, so I just kept it like that. And these notes right here, when it hits these notes, it goes dun 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 dun. So I wanted another instrument or sound to play that dun 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 dun. And so I went ahead into Electrax, you can see, and I opened up a sound. It was an ARP, and I went ahead and I laid down those notes dun 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 dun. You can use the ghost notes because you can see in the background. My other notes were off time or off beat a little bit, but I just put this one right on time, quantized it, and it sounds like this right here. So it's kind of weird and ambient right now. So that was it, man. And I went ahead and I figured I'd put one more sound on. I went and put this guitar on. I didn't even do much with it. I just put a few plucks or a few notes where it's going dun 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 dun. So just go beep 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 beep. And on the guitars, I've told y'all before, I like to use Guitar Rig. It's an awesome plugin for guitar effects. It has lots of nice presets and also has all these components. All these are effects that you can put on your sound. It could be a piano, it can be any sound, and it will affect it big time. So it's a really powerful effect processing plugin. You should check it out if you haven't already. And you can change the output of it right here. Sometimes it'll be loud as hell, and you change the output, turn it down right here. So I put that on there, and I put this Effectrix. You know what Effectrix has? Lots of effects basically that kind of change the sound. And I just put a little delay and a little reverse on it, and that was on the guitar. And it kind of freaked it out just a little bit, just made it change a little bit. And that's what I did, man. I went ahead and I turned that. And then I found this plugin. You know how you have Waves plugins you never use because Waves has so many plugins in the bundle. And I got a bunch of them I never use or opened up or look at or nothing. So I went ahead and I found this one, and it sounds real good on the guitar. It gives it a lot of energy and big difference. So I put that on there. I turned it down halfway. It's like an amp. It was turning it up big time. And this is what the guitar sounded like right here, just hitting those 3 notes. Damn, this shit is so loud. Let me turn this down. So that's what I had there. Now that I listen to it, I still might need to do something to it or try to get it to put an effect on it or like delay or repeat, or maybe I thought I had a delay on that. I don't. Maybe I need to do something. It's that guitar. And then I just put this little Vox on it, you know, the classic sound. And you know, with that, a lot of times you like to use a delay. Fruity delay is good. I never knew how to really use it until I started. Basically, when you use the fruity delay, you just want to affect the time knob. You can see up here in the top left it says 8. So you want to set this on like 4, 8, or 16, or 1, or whatever denomination you want the time. You can put it on ping pong, which means it'll go back and forth. And then from there, you just affect the wet, the level, and the cutoff. You know, this wet knob will tell how much of it's coming in and out. And this cutoff, it will affect how many times it, you know, repeats itself, or the echo repeats itself, and what level, you know, when does it cut off, and how how strong it is. So just those 3 knobs really, and those 4 knobs, you can always get a good effect with Fruity Delay. And you can even save your preset if you get a good setup. That's about it, man. So after that, I just went ahead and I came on the 808 right here, and I just laid down some few notes here by mouse, and it was like boom, 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 and I laid them down, and I just put a slide on there a second ago. I might need to do some more, but that was about it. And then I went ahead and opened up Maschine, and that's where my video messed up, but this is where I'm picking up. So I'll let you hear the 808 right here with this little Vox sound. Yeah, this note, I need to do something right here. I don't know. I'm gonna come back to it later. After that, man, I went to the drums, and that's where my video messed up. I was trying to explain to y'all something with these Maschine drum. So I opened up Maschine, and what I was trying to explain to y'all is that you should always be saving your drum kits like I've been recommending to y'all, because what I've been doing lately is I just push browser on my machine, and then I go over to groups. You see how it says groups? And then from there, I can use the knobs on my right screen. I just knob over to this little lax. And when I open up, or I knob over to lax, it has 2 subfolders. And I can use another knob for the subfolders. That's why I made a video where I tell y'all about removing all these types. And Maschine will have all these different types and like subfolders and just crap that it makes automatically. And if you don't organize it, or you just have it set up by default, it's just a mess. And I've made a video, it's called Removing Types. So look that up, man, because if you have custom kits and you're doing your own thing, and you got Machine's organization browser set up with the types and subtypes and subtypes, it'll just screw you up, bro. And you won't be able to navigate like this. So anyway, I just navigate over to Lax Kits, and then it has all my kits right here that I've ever made since I got Maschine. Right now I'm at kit number 330 almost. And I just go through them, day 1 kits all the way to the new ones. And I just use my little scroller, man. And if I want to scroll faster, you hold shift and it lets you scroll faster. And I just load up a kit. It's good because it loads up the kit. And when you load up the kit, you can see right here. Oh man, there it is. When I load up the kit, oh man, this is bad. I'm not trying to do that. That's what I'm trying to show y'all. When you load up the kit, it already has the polyphony set to 1, which it needs to be because we've already made the kit. You can see that it's all already colored, and I've showed y'all about coloring your kit. And also the pitch envelope's already set up on ADSR or AHD. That's what you need to do on your drum samples. And a lot of times what I'll do is I'll load up one of these kits, and I might not use the whole full kit. I might change out the snare or the hi-hat or some of the drum sounds, or might add a few sounds. But I'm still getting started quickly by pulling up a kit that's full of good sounds that I know are good because I picked them one by one. And maybe the kick didn't fit the track, or maybe the snare could have been changed. And it's so easy just to change one sound instead of going through and finding 16 ones and saving them and setting the polyphony and the AHD and naming it and da-da-da. And that's why you need to organize it like this and have it in your groups, because groups is where all your drum kits are. So it takes a little time, but you need to be able to save your drum kits you make right inside this groups folder, just like this, and have a little subfolder set up and just be able to scroll and push the button. Maschine loads it right up. My machine just lights up different colors, and I'm going through these groups, and then all 16 pads are there. So anyway, I just went ahead and I was showing y'all, like, you know how it is. A lot of times we like the kick to follow the 808, and a lot of times I do the 808 before the kick. So I did the 808, and I just copied and pasted right here to this kick. I've showed y'all that these are MIDI outs, so they trigger the pads on Maschine. My template, I have a custom template I sell. The custom template is not no Fruity Loops preset where you just go up here to File and you go to Template. And matter of fact, I'm about to save my beat right now since I ain't saved it. That's not the Fruity Loops template. Anyone can make a template like that, and you do need to have one. You better have one because it saves you time, man. So you need a template, but the template is not just that. It's a lot more than just that. Hell, I don't even know what today's date is, man. It's horrible. It's like 6/20 or some shit. It's actually 6/19 today, and this is how I name my beat. So you can do it whatever way. Some people if you put a word here, man, it'll get crazy because you'll be coming up with these lame words to name your beat. But this is good like this because I have a number, right? I say new, and then a number 372, and then lack, and then a date. So I have a number and a date. And what I've noticed is that helps so much because when I'm exporting beats and I'm going through them and they're all numbered, I can tell when I'm missing one. And I didn't know I was missing so many because I start a beat and then I don't finish it. But when you're going through the numbers, you can say, well, shit, I'm missing this number and this number. You open up the project on Fruity Loops and you see, well, man, I forgot all about that beat. And no beat can be lost when they're numbered and dated like that. Anyway, and then inside of the project, of course, we name it. I push F11 and name it. It'd be named up here. So I do give it a name, but that's a good organization tip. So yeah, man, all I did was I'll copy that 808 and I'll just go ahead and paste it right here onto this. And that's where I was. That's where I left off on the last video. So I'm just making the drums right now. And you can see right here, I'm making them on Fruity Loops this time. And I'm just going through and just putting stuff here. A lot of times when you draw the notes in on Fruity Loops, the velocity won't be all the way up. So you want to push Control A and then hold Alt and bring the velocity up. And also Control B, select up here, highlight that by holding right click, and then Control B, and it'll copy whatever was selected in there right next to it. And just stuff like that. So I'll go through it. These are the hi-hats. I actually brought these over in Maschine. That's what I was showing y'all before the video messed up. I recorded the hi-hats using the note repeat button right here. After they're done, anytime you want to bring something over quickly, always click right here on the piano. That way the piano roll machine is open. Then you can just click on the MIDI drag function and drag it over to where you want it. So I just clicked here and I just dragged it over. If you don't do that, it's going to bring up a dialog box. It's going to ask you what you want to drag over. Sometimes it gets confusing because the names don't match the patterns, and whoa. So you want to just click right here on the little piano and then drag it over. It'll drag whatever is in the piano roll. And you can even push down on your keyboard if you notice, and it goes down to the next one, up and down. So if you're doing it real fast, just push up and down and just drag them over. Boom, 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 boom. You do it in like 1 second. So I dragged over these hi-hats and I'm just messing with these. And that's where I'm at right now, man. So I'm just going to finish this little drum pattern and then I'm going to sequence this out. So sorry for all the talking. Let y'all hear what it sounds like so far. Yeah, that's what it sounds like right now. I'm gonna go ahead and mess with it for a minute and then see if there's any other tips I can share with y'all or anything. Alright, man, so I just laid down a simple drum pattern to what we had so far. I didn't do nothing besides go in and add some percussion sounds and put a little pan on them. You can see right here, percussion sounds, and change the velocity so that they were coming up on time. Looks like I used almost every sound. I used every sound almost at least once besides this third hi-hat. and this third snare. And that brings me to snare number 2. Yeah, man, everything's cool. So you can see, look at this right here. I know y'all see this. You see how I have dots right here on the step sequencer, but then I go into piano roll and I look at it and then I close it and it's still dots. And a lot of times it won't do that unless you select the note and you push Control A and then you push Control A to select them all, and then Shift D to change the note length or discard the note lengths. That way you can switch between piano roll and step sequencer and the note's still there. That's the key, or one of the keys to my template on how you can finger drum on the machine and record it right into the step sequencer on Fruity Loops on time. I could even have these little dots right here. So I could record from machine finger drumming and have it record in the little dots right here on the step sequencer. And I've showed y'all how to do that in another video. The reason we can do that is because Fruity Loops can auto quantize just like Machine auto quantizes, but you have to set it up. So once you set up the auto quantize, any notes you finger drum, they're gonna come in on time, just like when you finger drum on Machine and you got quantize on, it's all coming in on time. And we can record 16 different channel racks, 16 different pads, finger drum on Machine, and have them all record all at the same time, all on time. But we're not gonna go into that now. So yeah, man, I got the beat here. I just made a drum. It sounds simple. It sounds like I need to mix out the melody sounds and get them right. But here's what it is right now. So yeah, man, you really can't hear it because it looks like the computer's gonna static and all that. And I was mentioning that in the last video. And remember, guys, y'all don't need to use Fruity Loops ASIO. It's generic. It comes by default. It's bad. It works though, man, if you don't have anything else. But what you need to be using is an external third-party sound card, or just use the one on the Mk3. It has it updates it. They give updates for it every now and then. It's got a low latency. It works great, and it'll help you to get your stuff low. But the only reason it's popping now is because I'm using Fruity Loops ASIO, and Fruity Loops ASIO is inferior. It's not as good, and it's bad. That's why I always say that, but a lot of people disagree with me on it. And if you just started making music, you don't even know any better. You're just like, I didn't even know nothing about that. So that's why it's going to crackle if I try to play it for y'all right now. But we do have a lot going on, like Contact, Electrax, 2 Nexuses, Machines open, and then we got a bunch of effects that we had in the mixer going on. But I used to try to run from the CPU problems and try to export everything to audio and do all these type of things. But lately, just try to work around it or try to work through it. You don't want too many sounds in the beat anyway, so you try to limit what you're doing on the beat, focus, and just try to work through it, man. I think it's better to have this original project where I can open it up and I can see all my instruments and all that, rather than I open it up and it's just a bunch of, wave audio files. I don't know what instrument I used or what preset I used. I'll never find it again in my life. And I like to be able to open up the preset and the instrument and be able to change all those knobs on it and to see the preset and all that. So it's good to try to work around it, guys. That's why I say you need to have a good audio card. It doesn't matter how fast your computer is. It matters how fast your audio card is. And everyone gets that mixed up. They try to buy a new computer that's fast and they don't even buy an audio card. It's crazy. But that's it, man. I made the beat. At this point, like I've showed y'all before, we just do simple stuff like I will save my project, and then I will go right here to save a new version. So I saved 2 versions of my project. The original one is just the original one, and then I come through and like on this stuff, I'll go to right click and I'll rename these. And I always do it caps so it's not small and I can see it. Now this one was like shit, I don't know. Alright, there it is. So I'll just rename them real quick like that, and then you see they're already set up right here. Just go ahead and link them to the mixer tracks. So just hold down Control and select them like that, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and then just open up the mixer. And you know, just right click right here, channel routing, select the channels to this track, and there it is. They're all routed and they're named. The new Fruity Loops has that feature where it'll auto route tracks, but it don't work like that, bro, because it only works if you're using the playlist like this and you got something now to route it to its own track, but it's not routing channel racks. You know what I mean? So this is an easy way. It's still easy just to do it like that. That's it, man. Once we have it set up like that, everything is routed to its own mixer track. It still needs to be mixed and EQ'd and stuff like that. But at this point, all we'll do is we'll just go to pattern 1. If you go to the playlist, there should be nothing there, and there is nothing, but there's this pattern 1 with everything in it. So we just right click it and go to split by channel. And bam, look at the playlist now. You can see it splitted every channel that had a pattern on it. That's why we cook up the whole beat in pattern 1. You know, man, I've had a journey with Fruity Loops just like everybody else, and I'm sure you had a point in your life where you started to pattern everything out on its own pattern, because you know that it needs to be on its own pattern so that you can draw it out on the playlist. But for a quick workflow and to be efficient, you know, just to get in there and create your ideals without clicking around and doing a bunch of other stuff like editing and stuff, you do want to focus on just cooking the whole beat up in that one pattern and then using this technique to split by channel. That way I wasn't even worried about splitting by channels, or I wasn't arranging. I wasn't worried about nothing but making the little melodies. Alright, so you just hold down shift and you can select all of these right here, and then you just drag them over, man, just like that. Sometimes I make them all the same length. It's not necessary at all, but I do it just because I don't want to mess up and put one somewhere where it doesn't need to be. So sometimes I'll make them all the same length. Ugh. That's it, man. And then from there everything's easy. You just select it right there, right click and Control B, and just keep going. If I click up here, it shows me how long I've gone. So I'm at 1:46. I'll keep going, and notice I can see at the time as I push Control B and it keeps adding more and more. I can see how long it is right there because I clicked up there. So I'll just go up here to about like 3.5 minutes, which is where we are nowadays. And that's about it, man. Zoom out, or remember, push Control, right click, and you can see everything. And then from there, you know, just sequence the beat. You know, in the beginning of the beat, you don't want everything going, so you might have like this intro or whatever, and then the beat drops, and this is how we sequence it out. Once I've sequenced out my first 4 bars and my little hook or my chorus or however I'm gonna do it, I might just right click up here in the red, highlight a bunch of stuff, and repeat it. You know, I can either push Control B to make it repeat itself at the end, or I can just hold down Shift. And if I hold down Shift and I drag, it's gonna copy all those notes. And so you know the deal, man. After that, we just draw out our perfect picture. A lot easier than sequencing in Maschine, because you would have to have a very wise understanding of the patterns and the scenes, and you want this pattern to be different from that pattern. You need to do a lot of stuff to get it right. On here, if I wanted a pattern to be different from another, remember, we can always just right click and go to make unique. It's going to make that box unique from the next box, so that we can have variations in our patterns without and it makes a new pattern up here for it all also. Alright, so that's about it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and just end this video, man, because I'm glad I finished up and I'm done. And hell, I've been on here for 2 hours, so usually I like to spend like an hour on my melodies, because I have a lot of instruments and stuff, so I have sounds I haven't gotten to, so I need to go through and at least take a little bit of time to look for something unique before I just dive in. And the same thing with effects and stuff like that. But that's about it, man. So go ahead and end the video right there. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments, and also make sure you check out my custom Mk3 template. The template is not just a layout on Fruity Loops that has this kick and the snares right here. It has all that, but it also has this lock states. That means I can sequence lock states from Maschine and Fruity Loops. It has functions, so I can use functions from Maschine and Fruity Loops, like note repeat, chord mode, scale mode. Also, my template allows you to play on the pads all the minor scales, so you just pick what scale you want to use, and I can play any instrument. I can load up an instrument into Fruity Loops and start playing in scale without having to load it into Maschine and then use scale mode. And yeah, so it has features like that, and it has features where all the channels of Maschine are linked up to these mixer tracks on Fruity Loops, and that's what the key is. We don't really want to be dragging the audio and bouncing audio and all this. We just want the sound to come from Maschine into Fruity Loops, and that way when I go to export my beat on Fruity Loops, it's just going to export all the tracks, and there they are. It's audio. I never had to bounce it from audio to one DAW. To the more you bounce audio, the more quality you lose. I think y'all know that. And then that's about it, man. So it's got stuff like that. Everything's linked. It's got the volume knobs linked up. It allows you to use all these features up here. That's really what the key features of it is. You can play, stop, record, switch between pattern, song mode. I can tap the tempo. I can also change the tempo. I can change the snap. I can turn on the metronome. I can do all these little features up here. I can turn on the metronome. I can switch to step editing mode. I can switch patterns from my Maschine, and then I can open up all these right here, the playlist, the piano roll, the channel rack, the mixer, and the browser. And when I do open the browser up, one of the key features is I can browse samples and load them up with my knob, the big knob on the Maschine Mk3. So I can go right here, and if I have all these samples, I can just browse up and down, and I can even load them into the project by using the big knob. And that really helps when I'm playing an instrument. So I'm playing an instrument, a VST, and I'm playing it in scale. So I'm playing nice little melodies on the pads, and then I can just push down on the knob and change the preset to another one, and then another one, because I showed y'all in another video how to bring all your presets for your VSTs over here into the browser. That's way more effective than just having it on the preset. So I have all my Dune, Electrax, Nexus, Serum, and Silence right here. And not all VSTs you can do that, but these you can, and these have huge banks. So I've showed y'all to do that, and I've showed y'all to, once you do that, I showed y'all how to break it into subfolders. You know, you should have like this right here. I have the ARP space, brass, choir, because there's like 30,000 presets on Nexus, and this way they're all organized. And like I said, I can be playing a melody with my right hand, and with the left hand click down on a new preset and load it up. So it's flawless. That's about it though, man. I'm gonna go ahead and end the video, play this beat one more time, and hell, the beat's not even ready, but just play the video, and go ahead and I'll finish this later. That's what I'll do. That's what I do. I sit down, I make something like this, and then I put the finishing touches. I might mix it later, or I just finish and sequence it and mix it later. Give myself a break, and it feels great because I have something. I feel like I've accomplished some work. I've done work, and I got something to look forward to, right? So it's like the best of both. But go ahead and end the video, man. Appreciate y'all being on my channel, checking it out. And hell, today I will share a drum kit with y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a drum kit in the download. So those are available for 7 days. It's gonna be a drum kit just like this drum kit is on Maschine. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna go ahead and just give y'all this kit right here, Mk3 21. This kit right here, it's gonna be lit up. It's already gonna be linked up, and it's gonna be a shame if you're not able to bring it inside of your groups and use it, or if you just gotta. It's gonna be a shame if you have to go through each 16 sound and load them up individually because you don't know how to bring the drum kit inside a Maschine. And I've showed y'all how to do that on my videos and have it organized to where you can load it up, and that's what the download's for. So appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good day, stay blessed, and make something dope, man. This right here, this is trash, man. There's nothing right here. Like, I'm sure that one of y'all could make something way more creative and better than this just by using these fundamentals. So this isn't a beat making video to show you how to make beats. It's just to show you workflow between Maschine and Fruity Loops, so you can use your Maschine and Fruity Loops together and make a masterpiece. And that's what I want y'all to be able to do. It just takes a little understanding on how to use the template. So make sure you watch my videos on how to use the template. The custom Mk3 template is all about Maschine, so check it out, man. One.